Some balloons. Hey.
Because you didn't buy it, you're broke. You bought the turtle.
We didn't buy the turtle.
Oh, then you might have money, ask me.
We got.
The NFL scene was rocked when a casual chat among emerging talents morphed into one of the most buzzed-about incidents of the offseason. Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback under intense scrutiny, continues to make waves in the news, both for his performance on the field and his off-field antics, finding himself embroiled in yet another controversy. However, this time, it wasn't due to his performance or his well-known surname. It all went down when New York Giants running back Skattebo made a move that definitely crossed the line. In a live show showcasing the NFL's most promising young stars like Micah Parsons, Shedeur Sanders, and the Sanders brothers, the atmosphere shifted in an unexpected way. The atmosphere, once filled with friendly banter and good vibes, took a turn when Skattebo dropped a comment that made everyone in the room feel uneasy. He referred to Shedeur Sanders as being broke. Absolutely, you got it, broke. That statement is so bold, it's bound to make anyone stop and think twice. However, when you think about the person he was referring to, it gets even more ridiculous. The remark followed Skattebo's mention of Shedeur as a fifth-round contract holder, a pointed remark about Shedeur's draft selection in relation to his own spot. What was intended as a joke to rattle Shedeur ended up falling totally flat. It actually went above and beyond. It really highlights how little Skattebo grasps the intricacies of football and the empire that Shedeur Sanders has been constructing long before he ever set foot on an NFL field. Shedeur's response spoke volumes. He held back on throwing any insults. He kept his composure and avoided any heated exchanges. Instead, he shot Skattebo a glance that conveyed it all without uttering a single word. Then he flashed a grin. It's not a warm smile. It's the kind that signals you've just crossed a line you shouldn't have. It was a brilliant display of poise, the type of self-control that a person who has spent their whole life in the limelight becomes skilled at mastering. Shedeur realized that going back and forth with Skattebo was a waste of his time and energy. He's made for this kind of spotlight. Skattebo definitely isn't. Skattebo was clearly trying to show off, aiming to assert some sort of dominance or make a name for himself among a crowd of bigger personalities. But what he didn't get is that calling Shedeur Sanders broke is like saying Bill Gates is cheap. It's not merely wrong, it's downright ridiculous. The stats really support that point in a way that's hard to overlook. Let's kick things off with the fundamentals. Shedeur Sanders is dominating the NFL jersey sales this year, taking the top spot. Take a moment to really think about that. Not just among the rookies, but across the entire league. That indicates that more fans are purchasing his jersey compared to veterans who have been in the league for years, more than Pro Bowlers, and more than players who have clinched championships. Shedeur's jersey sales this year have likely raked in more cash than what Skattebo is pulling in from his whole contract. This is not just a guess. This is solid info that even former NFL MVP Cam Newton has weighed in on. Shedeur is more than just a football player. He's a powerhouse, and powerhouses generate revenue in ways that most folks can't even begin to grasp. For the very first time ever, a fifth-round pick has taken the top spot in jersey sales. No one is tuning into the third and fourth rounds quite like we are. Shedeur Sanders is leading the pack with the highest jersey sales among all rookies this year. It either improves or declines based on whether you're Skattebo. Recently, Gatorade hit up Shedeur Sanders with an offer that would leave most athletes absolutely stunned. $60 million across a 3-year span. For the majority of players, that's an obvious choice. You put your name on that contract, collect your earnings, and secure your future. But Shedeur Sanders stands out from the crowd of athletes. Rather than opting for the guaranteed cash, he made a move that demonstrates a level of business savvy that's uncommon, even among the top-tier professionals. He set up the agreement to gain a 3% stake in Gatorade USA. While 3% may seem insignificant to most, in the context of a company raking in billions each year, that percentage transforms into a staggering figure. Gatorade stands tall as one of the leading beverage giants globally, and having even a tiny piece of that empire signifies Shedeur is set to be cashing in for years, maybe even decades ahead. This isn't focused on cashing in at the moment. This focuses on creating wealth that lasts for generations. This is all about securing his family's future for generations to come. If things keep going this way, Shedeur Sanders is set to become the youngest billionaire in NFL history during his playing career. Not just a millionaire, but a billionaire. Continuing to play the game of football. Take a moment to let that sink in. Cam Skattebo can only wish for something like that. And there he was, right on the live show, throwing shade at Shedeur, calling him broke. The irony is just too intense to ignore. The Gatorade deal is merely the beginning of what Shedeur has in store for their financial portfolio. Before he even stepped onto the field for his first NFL snap, Shedeur had already secured a groundbreaking endorsement deal that had everyone in the sports world talking. Back then, a $125 million contract for a player who hadn't even stepped onto the professional field was absolutely unprecedented. Some critics raised eyebrows about whether he was worth that kind of cash without having shown what he can do in the league. The doubters were vocal, but Shedeur paid no mind to their clamor. He recognized his value, and even more crucially, the brands recognized it as well. He included an equity clause in his contract with Gatorade. That clause essentially stated, "I'm not just present as a name or a figure. I want a piece of what's being created from my contributions. I want to take charge of the result." That clause basically just kept his interest intact. He left with his updated contract status and asserted his equity. Then things took it up a notch. As Shedeur hit the field for his debut preseason game, Nike triggered a unique active player clause in his contract. Just like that, his deal's value skyrocketed. His earnings skyrocketed to an astonishing $250 million over the next 4 years. The agreement went beyond just the paycheck. Shedeur landed an incredible 50% share from all his jersey sales. Every time a fan picks up a Shedeur Sanders jersey, he pockets half of that profit. This provides him with a revenue source that elevates him to a level all his own. While other rookies were busy enjoying their typical endorsement deals and figuring out how to handle their new riches, Shedeur was already playing the game on a whole different level. This not only made him the highest-paid rookie in NFL history, but also positioned him as one of the most impactful young athletes across all sports. What made it even more surprising was that he was already surpassing big-name prospects such as Cam Ward and Travis Hunter when it came to earnings and marketability. Despite not being picked in the first round like many anticipated, Shedeur showed that where you get drafted doesn't determine your success. Having a keen sense for business, perfect timing, and a clear grasp of your worth are essential. When Cam Skattebo faced off against Shedeur Sanders and threw out that remark about him being broke, it wasn't merely a poor attempt at humor. He was showcasing his lack of understanding regarding the business aspects of professional sports. He was demonstrating that he fails to grasp the distinction between earning income and creating lasting wealth. He was putting himself in the crosshairs of one of the most fervent fan bases in all of sports. Shedeur Sanders supporters definitely don't tolerate any disrespect. They back him up with the same fire and passion he brings to the game. Skattebo is about to find out just how tough that lesson can be. Even though Shedeur opted to take the high road in that moment, steering clear of any drama, his fans are unlikely to let it slide so easily. The criticism of Skattebo is already ramping up, and it's bound to get even more intense. Honestly, Cam Skattebo really should have seen this coming. He really should have done his homework before attempting to mock someone who's playing in a whole different financial league. Shedeur Sanders is more than just wealthy. He's constructing a powerhouse. Calling someone broke like that doesn't make you seem tough or funny. It makes you seem ridiculous. In the end, Shedeur Sanders showcased once more why he's considered one of the brightest young talents in professional sports. He didn't have to respond with words. He had no obligation to justify himself or clarify his financial status. His grin revealed everything. The stats tell the whole story. While Cam Skattebo is busy trying to grab attention with low blows at bigger names, Shedeur Sanders is steadily rising as one of the wealthiest and most impactful players in the league.